3F.2, and we'll work on that, and then we'll move into 3F.3. Now, what we're doing here is a bit more graphing, okay? So you might recall last lesson, or as the lesson before, we looked at reciprocal functions, and we found some of those later ones a bit challenging. So it is a skill we do need, okay? I haven't seen a question like that in an exam, but they are in the tests. They are in the test where you don't have a function, you're just presented with a graph, and you do need to draw the reciprocal of it. So this is a skill that we will go over a bit more, and we'll practice lots of examples to make sure we understand that. This one's going to be a fair bit easier, okay? So it's still graphing, and sometimes without the function, but it is going to be a fair bit easier. And when we have the function, we can just use our calculator. So x squared plus 2x, this is a quadratic. Let's graph this one so we can see what the function looks like, and then we can talk about these two. So firstly, if I'm going to graph it, I want to know the roots. The roots occur when the function equals 0. So we can factorise x, and our roots are 0 or minus 2. Alright, it's got a positive a value, which means it's opening upwards. Okay, so we know all that kind of stuff. We've been doing that relentlessly since year 10, really, and developed it a bit more in year 11. So I might come up here to graph these ones, so we can all see them. So what it's got is a root at 0 and a root at minus 2, and it's opening upwards. So I'm just going to sketch the shape of it. That's all that's important to us. Coming down and going up. Okay, that is the function of x. Now firstly, let's sketch the modulus of f of x. Okay? Now if you want, you can read all the dot points about it. Alright, I might graph it and then explain how they take place, but it's actually really easy to do. What does modulus mean? It means make it positive. Okay, so that means every negative value just gets reflected over the x-axis. Alright, so we're just, everything that's negative, we're just going to take that and flip it up here. So the modulus of f of x then, it still has roots 0 and minus 2, but it comes down, this part goes up, and then it goes like that. Okay, so it's just reflected. The negative parts are made positive. Okay, so let's talk about those dot points there. So we're talking about the graph of y equals the modulus of f of x. Keep the graph for when it's larger than 0. Okay, so we're keeping that part of the graph. All right, that's the first dot point. The second one, reflect the graph in the x-axis for x is less than 0 and discard what's there. So we're reflecting that part in the x-axis for f of x being greater than 0, and then we're discarding this part here. And then the last one, points on the y-axis are invariant. That means they don't change after this transformation. So here's the y-axis. Notice how this point maintains the same coordinate. All right, all points on the y-axis invariant. All right, here we go for the graph of y equals the f of the modulus of x. So, I'm sorry, I read the wrong one there. Points on the x-axis are invariant. So notice how these 2 points stay the same. Sorry, I read the wrong one. Those 2 points stay the same. All right, f of modulus of x. Okay, pretty similar. What we're doing here is we're just going to discard the graph for x is less than 0, and we're just going to reflect that part of it. So here's the graph for x is greater than 0, and that's the part that we reflect, but in the y-axis this time. So it's going like this. All right, so let's read through those points. Discard the graph for x is less than 0, so we're discarding that part of it. Reflect the graph for x is greater than 0, so that part, in the y-axis. So we're reflecting it about the y-axis. Points on the y-axis, so that's the coordinate there, invariant, remains the same from this transformation to this transformation. Excellent. So that's where we'll stop. It's 3F.2. Let's have a bit of a go at this. You can use your calculator. Maybe I'll just talk about quickly before we finish up how we put both of these in our calculator. This one's quite easy. That's just the modulus of x squared plus 2x. The next one's a little bit trickier, but I expect you to be able to do it still. Modulus of x squared plus 2 times modulus of x. All right, that's what you need to put in your calculator to graph that one. That's what you need to put in your calculator to graph that one. And this one is just y equals x squared plus 2x. Okay, so use the calculator, but also try and just use the rules. Okay, pretty good skill to have. All right.